Hello, my name is Ken Droulard and I'm a professor with the University of Windsor. I'm affiliated with the Great Lakes Institute for Environmental Research and the School of the Environment with the Faculty of Sciences. I'd like to thank the Essex Region Conservation Authority for nominating me this year for the Conservation Award in Environmental Achievement. This is truly a great honor and one that's extra special to me because it's coming out of the community that I was born and raised from, and also one that I have the great privilege to return to in my professional life. The Droulard name has had a long affiliation with this community, having settled here in the mid-1700s. My forefathers were among the first to be granted the original French long farms, and Simon Droulard, the first to settle here, had his farm located in what is now part of the Ojibwe Prairie Complex, with the short end of that rectangle abutting the Detroit River. Those early French settlers recognized how vital the Detroit River was to their success and vitality, and that's a situation that hasn't changed throughout the entire history of this community. The Detroit River is the first place that I ever caught a fish, fishing with my father on the docks of LaSalle when I was a child. It's the resting place of the ashes of my grandfather. The Detroit River holds a special connection in my heart, and that's a bond that will never change throughout the rest of my life. I'm proud of having spent a good portion of my career working on the Detroit River, Lake Erie, and other Great Lakes, but more specifically, helping to really restore the Detroit River. And part of that is through my research, but also part of that is through my work with the Canadian Remedial Action Plan called the Detroit River Canadian Cleanup Committee. Of course, none of these achievements are my own domain. They come with the help and aid of so many others. And I want to take a little bit of time to thank some of the mentors, some of the people who I've collaborated with, some of the people who have just shared their optimism and enthusiasm and their go-getter attitude to just keep things moving. So among a few of the people I really want to kind of mention here, mentorships, Doug Hafner, Emeritus Professor at the University of Windsor. Doug Hafner started off my career as a professor while I was doing my undergrad at the University of Windsor. He's the one who persuaded me to get into the field of environmental science. And when I came back to the University of Windsor, he became one of my most trusted colleagues and a lifelong friend. Doug was the one who brought me on to the Detroit River Canadian Cleanup Committee. I'd also like to really acknowledge some of the really important people who have done so much for the DRCC and also helped me with my research as I worked on the Detroit River along with my students. These include folks such as April White from Environment and Climate Change Canada, Ted Briggs from the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks, and of course many of the ERCA staff. Katie Stamler has helped me greatly, and in the last 5 years she's contributed a whole bunch of training and mentorship to my graduate students. So ERCA and the University of Windsor have engaged in this close collaboration and partnership, and I'm proud that the affiliation between Windsor, University of Windsor and ERCA has blossomed so much in the last 5 to 10 years. Last, I want to thank some of the key RAP coordinators for our Detroit River Canadian Cleanup Committee. Our past RAP coordinator, Claire Sanders, was truly tireless in her efforts to make improvements on the system and just get things done. And those big shoes were recently filled by Jacqueline Saran, and she's proven to be equally as competent and one of the people that is making things happen behind the scenes. With that, I'm going to conclude this video, and thanks so much again to ERCA for nominating me for this Conservation Award. I'm going to present it with pride in my office and showcase it to all my students. This is a great, great honor, and thank you again.